Hello and welcome to the Watering Hole. Thanks for checking out this clip. Don't forget to like and subscribe because that'll make the baby Jesus cry, and I know how much you guys love making the baby Jesus cry. This may as well segue us into, this wasn't going to be my first news story, but since we're talking about it, a Tesla Cybertruck owner says kids at his son's baseball practice laughed at a Cybertruck after it was towed. Adds 28 kids went from thinking the Cybertruck was cool to pointing and laughing. I'm not going to read the article. The headline says it all. It's just like, yeah, no, it's a Cybertruck. It was in its natural environment of the back of a flatbed.
Also, Mionin Stankfoot, thank you very much for the 1,000-bit cheer. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so this is the story. And
this is the story all about how I got laughed at.
I'm just curious how they got a hold of this story, because this guy is named and everything, which we don't need to get into that, but whose Cybertruck bust down? They decided that the thing to do is to call up a news agency and be like, hey, I need to tell you that 28 children at a baseball game laughed at me. I need this to be published in the news that I'm being humiliated by children because of my car.
Donald Trump and Elon Musk would both pull that move. And they would think it's a power play.
How is that a power play?
Remember when Elon Musk had his fucking breakdown because Tim Walz was dancing around about Tesla stock going down and he called it profoundly evil? This is just that. This is that. This is people leading by example.
Yeah, so he would have the breakdown and be like, children laugh at me. It's evil that their parents are brainwashing them into laughing at me.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah. It's just, I don't understand why anyone likes that stupid truck. Even like I said, putting aside all the Musk shit, it's just a bad truck.
I do think there is an aspect, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think there's an aspect of it where people thought it was cool because everything that Elon Musk was doing once upon a time was considered trendy and cool. They hop on that bagwagon, they pick it up, and then because they have spent so much money on the goddamn thing, now suddenly they're basically locked in. Oh no, I love this thing. As they cry in the amount of money they could have spent on literally multiple vehicles that all would be better.
That's the thing. The one that I saw up close, it was a Foundation series, which means that guy paid, what is it, 50,000 extra to get the Foundation series?
It's not any fucking different.
You paid a whole car extra so that you could have the same one as all the other ones, but it's got the word Foundation on its chassis. And in theory, we'll get full self-driving at some point sooner than the non-Foundation ones.
Yeah, that's just a fucking scam.
Yeah, I mean, he's been promising full self-driving every year since about 2014. So it's been a year away for a decade now.
Self-driving for Teslas is coming around the same time that Jesus Christ is coming back.
Yeah, Otaku Senpai says the Cybertruck looks like a prop from a low-budget 80s sci-fi film. No, it's a high-budget 80s sci-fi film. It's what Blade Runner would have driven. You didn't watch the film enough to realize that there is no character called Blade Runner in the movie Blade Runner. And even after that's been around for long enough that he should have been able, I guarantee he's heard the correction at some point, but he still says it's the truck that Blade Runner would have driven. And I don't know if that's just him being an idiot or him doubling down on me no, I didn't misspeak. I meant what I said. And it makes sense because I can rewrite reality by just saying it.
He meant what he said, and Elon Musk's promise, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the same thing with Doge. He's been promising full self-driving since 2014. Doge, initially the promise was I'm going to save $2 trillion before, I think he said fiscal year 2026, which starts in October. And then he revised it down to 1 trillion, and then he revised it down to 200 billion. And even that is like, probably not. But even if you hit that, all the stuff that you've done have ended up costing an additional 100 and some odd million. So like, it's almost a wash.
Yeah, it's embarrassing because anybody that you have to ask yourself, is every adult who hears the claims from Elon Musk and thinks that they are legitimate and going to happen, is every one of those adults somebody who had a best friend with an uncle who worked at Nintendo who had a copy of Pokemon Gray? Because I remember all the time just kids being fucking, and I was one of them, kids being gullible about like lost cartridges and stuff because we were like, oh, you have an uncle who works at Nintendo, so you have the inside scoop on this. We never knew how to get any fucking evidence of that shit.
I mean,
those kids grew up to be Musk supporters. It
is based in a little bit of reality, because there are games that were so disastrous for a company that like they stopped selling them and reacquired all the cartridges they could, and then buried them in the desert.
I mean, yeah, that is.
Like, I want to say Custer's Revenge was one of them.
It's ET is the one that is
usually
that was ascribed to. It's okay. ET. But that one actually has a more funny story associated with it, because the common myth is that ET was such a disaster that it caused the video game crash of the 70s and 80s. When the reality is ET was a symptom of what caused the crash. The thing that caused the crash was there not being any regulations in the video game industry. There not being any standards for games. There not being any of that shit for companies. So companies would just get every licensed property they could and make whatever they could for the Atari as fast as possible. And it didn't matter if the thing was good or not. And so that ended up eroding trust in video gaming as a hobby. And then as a result of that, when Nintendo brought its stuff to North America, they had to basically disguise it as a VCR and sell it in the boys section of the toys section instead of the electronics section, so that it was seen as not a video game console, but an entertainment system.
Yeah, that's also what kind of started them down the path of aggressive intellectual property defense.
Yes.
We're like, oh, the problem with Atari was that anybody could make a game for Atari, resulting in games like E.T. and Custer's Revenge, which if you're not aware of Custer's Revenge,
it's a porn game.
Yeah, okay, but it's a porn game where you are playing as Colonel Custer, and the goal of the game is to rape a Native American lady.
Yep.
So Nintendo is like, we don't want that shit happening to our console, so we are going to have these security chips embedded in it so that only companies that we approve can make games for this.
Which famously was circumvented by Wisdom Tree. If you're familiar with that gaming company.
The Bible games, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The one company that Nintendo's afraid to sue.